See, you know what that is? See, that's right out of Rome. Roman Catholicism is all about the hierarchy. You have a low-level priest here who answers to a local bishop up here, who answers to a cardinal, who answers to a pope. And at the top of the ladder is where the spiritual wickedness is. Amen? Even in Roman Catholicism, some of these low-level priests down here, some of them are good guys. They haven't molested a child. Higher up the ladder. Do you see how it works, right? Now I want you to we're going to look at Ezekiel for a few minutes. What did Ezekiel see? What did God open Ezekiel's eyes to? Ezekiel chapter 8. Are you there? Say amen. I want us to go back to verse 5. He said unto me, a son of man, lift up thine eyes now the way toward the north. So I lifted up mine eyes toward the way toward the north, and behold, northward at the gate of the altar this image of jealousy in the entry. And he said, furthermore unto me, son of man, seest thou what they do? Even the great abominations that the house of Israel committeth here. He's talking about all the people down here at the bottom. He said, they're all worshiping this idol, that I should go far off of my sanctuary. But turn thee yet again, and thou shalt see what? Greater. We're going to go up the rung a little bit here. And we're going to see something that's greater abomination. Then look at verse 7. And he brought me to the door of the court. That's where all the low-level priests were. And when I looked, behold, a hole in the wall. And he said, son of man, dig now in the wall. And when I digged in the wall, behold, a door. And he said unto me, go in and behold the wicked abominations that they do here. So I went in and saw, and behold, every form of creeping things and abominable beasts and all the idols of the house of Israel portrayed upon the wall round about. And there stood before them 70 men. The number's getting smaller now. We did have the whole house of Israel. Now we got 70 men. Of the ancients of the house of Israel, in the midst of them stood Jaazaniah, the son of Shaphan, with every man his censer in his hand, and a thick cloud of incense went up. Then he said unto me, son of man, hast thou seen what the ancients of the house of Israel do in the dark, every man in the chambers of his imagery? For they say, the Lord seeth us not, the Lord hath forsaken the earth. He said also unto me, verse 13, turn thee yet again, and thou shalt see greater abominations that they do. He's going to go up another level in the structure here of the people who are governing over Israel. And he said, the higher up we go, the greater the abomination. God showed me this tonight while I'm eating steak. Okay? He wanted you to know this. He wanted you to see this. So he said in verse 16, and he brought me into the inner court of the Lord's house. Behold, at the door of the temple of the Lord, between the porch and the altar, was about 25 men. See, the higher we go up, the less men we got. You see that? 25 men with their backs toward the temple of the Lord and their faces toward the east, and they worshiped the sun toward the east. Verse 17, then he said unto me, hast thou seen this, O son of man? Is it a light thing to the house of Judah that they commit the abominations which they commit here? For they have filled the land with violence, and have returned to provoke me to anger. And lo, they put the branch to their nose. Therefore will I also deal in fury. Mine eye shall not spare, neither will I have pity. Though they cry in mine ears with a loud voice, yet will I not hear them. It's one of the few places in the Bible where God said He wouldn't hear prayer. It's because these guys climbed up the ladder to get power, and the higher they got, the more wicked they became. We have that same tiered structure in most of Christianity in this country right now. You have the local congregations listening to the pastor, who's reading from the manuals given to him by the Rick Warrens and the Bill Hybels and the Ted Haggards and all of these guys who listen to this, who are being controlled by the publishing houses such as Zondervan Press and Nav Press and Thomas Nelson Publishers, who are being controlled by unseen men above them, and the higher we get, the wickeder we get. Isn't that what we saw here? So you know what? God said, you don't even have to be a part of that junk. Which, by the way, As Christians, we are now all kings and priests with Christ, aren't we? And I believe in authority in the church, and I believe that man's it. But I'll tell you something. You've got a heart. You've got a mind. You can pray to God, can't you? You can read a Bible. God can show you things out of this book. And I guarantee you, if your heart's right and His heart's right, it'll all be the same thing, won't it? And I'm telling you right now, there's going to come a time when the true believers are going to have to shut their Christian radio off and their Christian television, and we're going to have to quit ordering Sunday school literature because they're moving in. They're ruling from the top down, and the higher it goes, the more wicked it is. That's exactly what's going on in this world. And tomorrow night, I'm going to show you the culmination. And what I'm going to show you tomorrow night is probably the worst that you've ever seen it. And I promise you that in a year from now, I'll have to redo this because it's going to be worse. So make sure you bring people here tomorrow night to see this. Because spiritual wickedness is ruling in high places. And they're trying to take control. Remember, the daddy and the mama here, you remember that last night? They're trying to get control of them so they can have the little child. And it's all about ruling over. You see, Jesus said He hates the doctrine of the Nicolaitans. There's two words there. Nico, the Greek word for king or ruler, and laitanes, the laity, the church members. He said He hates the doctrine of those who try to lord over the church members. He said He hates it. But that's exactly what they're trying to do. And we need to stand on a wall. And we need to blow a trumpet. Can I hear you say amen? God bless you, Brother John.